G'day everyone, it's Orlando here again from Cool Runnings Engineering. Today I'm going to give my mate Brad a hand installing a water injection system into this 1600. So before we get started, just some quick details about the car. It runs a 13B turbo engine. This one's been fully rebuilt and it's actually a billet setup. So it also uses a GT42 Garrett turbocharger. It runs a Haltech Platinum Sport 2000 ECU, a T400 automatic transmission. It's got a full-length rear end and it runs on E85. So Brad purchased the HFS3 Aquamist water injection system from us a little while ago. It's running one of the larger pumps. It's also running a high flow 1600cc fast acting valve, and it's also got a direct port bundle as well. The kit on this car will just be used for charge air cooling and to provide added protection in a highly stressed environment. So Brad's car is set up for drag racing. Brad just needed some assistance with the installation, so he gave us a call up. We're going to give him a hand, and we thought it'd be a good opportunity to take you guys through how to install an Aquamist system into your vehicle. So without further ado, we'll get into it. So I had some minor technical difficulties with the video when I did the original intro and before we took the manifold off. So anyway, the manifold's off. It's ready to be drilled and tapped for the direct port jets. And yeah, but what we'll do now is we'll hold off on that for a moment. We'll go to the rear of the car, we'll mount the tank and the pump, and we'll install some of the wiring before coming back to the front of the car to finish off the direct port install and get the manifold back on, and then do the testing. So as you can see here, we've just mounted the bracket for the tank, and we've just positioned the pump there as an indication for where it's going to go. We've got a bracket for that. Unfortunately, it's not with us at the moment, so we might have to complete that pump mount tomorrow. Anyway, show you how the tank fits in there. So the tank's going to go in like so. That means that the pickup for the tank is at the back, so under acceleration we won't have any surge problems. This is the Aquamist 10 litre tank. It comes with an internal baffle, so that also aids with any surging issues. That's our trunk harness from the HFS3 kit. It's pre-terminated here to plug into the unit, to the control unit, and we've got enough wires to connect the pump to the battery, and then that's where the relay will go for the pump. We've also got another small connection here, which is for the level sensor, and the level sensor, which is already in the tank, will connect like so. Alright, so yeah, we'll get all that installed and move on from there. So we're moving on now to fitting up the direct port kit. These parts include a distribution manifold, jet adapters, direct port jets, and a post intercooler jet. As this is a 4-cylinder direct port kit, for this application we'll only require 3 outlets, so the 4th has been blanked and can be used if more jetting is required in the future. Alright, so here you can see that we've gone ahead and drilled some pilot holes where the jets will be located. We will drill these out to 8.5mm prior to tapping the threads with a 1/8 MPT tap. If you're doing this at home, tap down to the last 2 to 3 threads on the 1/8 MPT tap to ensure best fitment of the jet adapters. So back kicking on with the work on Brad's car. Yesterday was a bit of a slow day. I'll just give you a quick rundown of where we're at and what we'll finish off today. So the tank bracket was installed yesterday. Today we'll mount the pump. Here's the bracket that we've got for the pump. The pump will sit up in that corner over there. Once that's done, we'll get the car in the air. We'll run the line from the boot all the way up to the engine bay. So here's our 6mm line. This line goes from the tank to the pump and also from the pump all the way up to the fast acting valve here, which will be mounted in the engine bay. We'll also mount the controller in the car. We'll run all these cables. So this is a cable, the flow sensor cable, that will click on to this section here of the fast acting valve. This is the cable for the coil that will mount on here. This is the gauge cable, so that will run from the controller over to our gauge. And the grey harness and our little 4-wire harness are made into one yesterday. It looks like a bit of a bird's nest at the moment, but we'll put some sleeve over that, and when it's all mounted in the car, it'll be all nice and neat. We've also got a little bracket here that will mount the solenoid in the car, and we've also got this little neat fitting that Richard from Aquamist sent to us, and this allows us to connect the manifold directly to the fast acting valve. So it'll just end up being one big piece mounting on this little bracket. So that should look pretty neat and tidy once it's done. So I'll get cracking now, get that all in the car, get that all sorted, and yeah, we'll see how we go from there. I forgot to mention that we got the manifold back on last night as well. The direct port jet's already mounted in the manifold, and we already ran the lines just because they were going to be a pain to do it after the fact. So here's one line, which is for the back jet over here, and this line comes off this jet. So I'll run this line through. Actually, before I do that, I'll put some protective sheathing on there, and then I'll run that line under the manifold. It'll go to the back, and the manifold will probably mount it in here somewhere, and so those two lines will go to the manifold. There's also going to be a third jet which is going to mount in this pipework, so we'll get it after the blow-off valve, so that once the throttle slams shut, hopefully not too much water methanol will come out of the blow-off valve. Alright guys, I've got the car in the air now. I'm going to run the water meth line from the boot down to the engine bay. just thought I'd give you a quick look of the setup underneath the car. Alright, so it's all business under here, starting with the parachute mount. We've got the exhaust, 4-inch exhaust pipe, all the way from the back of the turbo. We're running 275 Mickey Thompson drag radials. You can see the suspension setup is all business. T400 gearbox. Twin wastegate, dumping straight to atmosphere. I think they're about 45 or a 50 mil gate each. And up through there, there's a twin scroll manifold, which the turbo sits on. Lots of fuel lines and trans-cool lines and breather lines. There's a trans-cooler mounted up there. So the hose for all the water injection is going to be coming out there. And what we're going to do is run that all the way along with the fuel line, all the way down to the front of the car. And up through there into the engine bay. Alright. I'll get started on that now. Alright guys, so what I've got here is some split tubing, and I'm just going to use this to cover the line from where it comes out of the boot to the whole length under the car. Now what this will do is it'll just offer a little bit of added protection in case anything rubs against the hose. It will be cable tied to the pre-existing fuel line, so I don't think that's going to happen, but this is a just in case. Now what we're also well aware of is to mount your water injection line well away from any heat source. If you are worried that it's going to be in the vicinity of a heat source, I would use something a lot more robust than just the split tubing. So something along the lines of some silicon fire sleeve, something that's going to offer a lot of heat resistance. And if you're worried about any kind of chafing, that's probably a good thing to use as well, because it offers great protection against any kind of rubbing or chafing. So this is good for our application here because it's going to be in a cool environment away from any heat source. It's going to be cable tied with the fuel line. So if it's with the fuel line, that's usually away from any heat source. So we're confident that there shouldn't be any issues of melting or anything of the line. So something to be cognizant of when you're doing your installs. Alright guys, so we're all done under here. There's our line here. I've got it cable tied most of the way along the length of the car. So it just follows the fuel line all the way down, all the way along. And through here, up into the engine bay. Alright guys, just another quick tip when you're running your water injection line. What I normally do is tape up the end of the line, and what that does is stops any debris getting into it when you're feeding it under the car. Under the car is usually pretty dirty, some grit and grime, so if you don't cap that off, you're going to get crap all through the line, and yeah, won't be a fun day. Another tip is to connect the line to the discharge of the pump and then feed it through the car. And when you've got the excess, which is here, so you can see how much excess we've got, it's quite a bit, Then you can trim off what you don't need, and then you can use that excess to run from your pump to your tank. So I've had guys who have done it the other way around, who have cut the length from the pump to the tank first, and then when they go to run the line under the car and into the engine bay, they've come up short. So yeah, if you do it this way, you're usually going to be pretty good, unless you've got a really long car. Anyway, if you run into any issues, we do have some joiners that can get you out of trouble. They're just a compression joiner, really secure, and they won't leak. So all done with the install on Brad's car. I'll just give you a quick walkthrough from the back of the car to the front of the car, and a quick overview of what we did. So as you can see there, that's the tank installation. That's where we end up mounting the pump. There's a line there that goes down under the car. Alrighty guys, so we're in the car. Just got to do a bit of vacuum to clean up the mess that we made, stripping wires and a few other things. The gauge hasn't been mounted yet. Brad just needs to get a pod. So yeah, just power this up. Happy days. The unit was tucked up under there. The wiring is a bit messy, so we're just in a bit of a rush to get it all completed tonight because the car's getting tuned tomorrow. So once Brad brings it back, we'll just neaten all that wiring up, and then we'll get this last wire hooked in. So what that's going to do, that's going to plug into the e-boost, which is there. When the water injection system's turned on, like so, that's going to send a signal to the e-boost to switch to a high boost map. That also forms part of our fail-safe. So if the Aquamist unit goes into or detects a fail-safe condition, it will send a signal to the e-boost to switch to a different boost setting. So that'll be a safe boost setting with the water injection off. As you can see there, that's where our line comes in. It goes into the fast acting valve. So that's a line coming from the pump. It goes into the fast acting valve there. We've got our flow sensor wire connected there. We've also got the wire to the fast acting valve coil connected there. And there's our manifold. And we've got one jet under there, as you can see here. We've got an inline check valve in that one. And then the other lines, we've just got them running up along here for now, and then they go under the manifold. And as you can see, there's one jet there, the other jet's in this runner underneath. So yeah, nice and neat, all finished, ready to hit the dyno tomorrow. Thanks again for watching another episode. Hope you like the install in Brad's car. Stay tuned for just a few videos of the dyno run, and we'll try and get some more footage when Brad hits the racetrack. Thanks again, over and out.